Alright, I know this video is not gonna stay up, but oh, so it's today. Alright, so today at the Rain Tunnel right here in Bradley Beach, New Jersey, because yes, I live in Bradley Beach, they have free car washes for veterans and active military personnel. All you have to do is bring in your ID. Look, now I'll come by here all the weekend. Look at all the people getting their car washed. Holy crap! They'll never be this busy, even on Saturdays. But unless it's like right after, the first sunny day after a storm or something like that. But if you live in Bradley Beach or you're over by the Jersey Shore and you are military personnel or a veteran, please make sure you slide through over here to the car wash. Get your car washed for free. Just bring your ID. What's good? What's good? Good morning. I appreciate you being here. PGZ. What's good? Savage Moses, what's up? You did great. Oh, thank you. Because I can only speak facts. It's not speculation and it's not necessarily my opinion. So when you really stand on integrity and you doing what you feel is right and you're using valid information that is concrete, can't nobody change the facts of this case. It's wrong and it hurts my heart. And I'll speak from the heart. I'm a very passionate person. I'm a Virgo. So, and I meant every word I said. Like, I literally have Verb on my Mount Rushmore. Like, a lot of people don't understand. Going back before 2010, I was a fan of Verb. I knew Verb's capabilities. And then to hear him say that they, Beasley talked him out of getting a record deal. I mean, he could have seen somebody like Verb run across the street, stay shaking his dreads, spitting some crazy ass bars. You know, he would have came back and still supported battle rap. He could have still did whatever, but I think that your L suppressed a lot of people's careers. And that's the issue I have is I watched them suppress so many careers. I watched a lot of battlers lose their morale. Oh wait, do they know what they're doing? No. Grandma is teaching her grandchild how. Oh, I don't know what they're doing. Busting good turns in the street. You a Virgo too? Mine is the 12th of September. That's what's up. So you already know. So that's why you probably vibe with me. That's why you get me. Because you understand, like, I'm not a malicious person, but I'll tell you how it is. And what I always liked about some of the battlers that I do have as my favorite, and everybody all know I'm E Block all day. I really look up to Easy because I watched his career take off, and I knew it was. And then to watch somebody who their career take off, you know. Hey, fan, what's good? Good morning to you too. Salute. A-Fan said salute to the chat. Yes, I did not plan, as you see, because my hair looks crazy. I was just running to the store, so I threw on my shirt and jacket This nigga got a handful of stuff in his hand coming from the store because out here you ain't got no plastic bags. So you gotta he's on a skateboard with a handful of stuff in his hands. Damn. Okay. 9/21. Oh snap! That's my birthday backwards. Yes, you did make the cut. You're a Virgo. You're closer to that Libra area, which just means that you probably have better organizational skills than I do. You know, you're probably better level. You're more level minded. You're not. I'm like an extremist. You know, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm an extremist. I wholeheartedly. But one thing I'll tell you, I ain't a liar. I don't believe in lying. I can't remember shit. I smoked a lot of weed in my days. So I like feel like I burnt the brain cells connected to the lie part of your brain. Because I can't lie because I can't remember shit that ain't truthful. So my mom taught me that when you lie, that it says something about the character, your character, who you are as a person. And that if I, you know, and I would get in trouble for lying more so than in trouble for whatever I did. And I realized, like, yo, just stop lying. It's not good. So when I was younger, I was like 16. I stopped lying. I would be more or less reclusive. So I would just be silent before I tell somebody something instead of lying. So I was, so I'm very silent, like that. But I learned that being truthful and being honest is about integrity. Integrity is not about anything else other than just being keeping it 100, you know, unapologetically. So that's what I pride myself on as a Virgo is that I may not be the best person to communicate with. I may not be as sympathetic as some other people. I am an empath for sure. But I will tell you the truth before I lie to you because I can't remember shit. So I, to the best of my recollection, I'm gonna, try to be truthful. And this URL case is so historical. I think it's gonna take some time for people to really gather and realize how impactful this really is. Because that money that they gotta pay North is going to be paid. And then what is next for URL? Be outside the crib. Get some fresh air, get a breeze. So if you guys are, yeah, okay, so now mind you, Bird put that on private, and it's best that he did because he just don't want no issues because they're already making it, trying to create a narrative like, oh, you're threatening and all this stuff. So what URL is good to do is become victims. They'll victimize themselves, act like they are so scared of this and that, and oh, they're harming our business and they're harming us with this and they're harming us with that. Turn around and will bully your ass, intimidate your ass, all they want. They throw rocks and they hide their hands. Going in the crib. So for all those, let me tell you, that's a locked door with a camera, motion sensors. As you walk through here, that bolt. Another door that you go through. Boom, motion sensor. As soon as your head hit that bolt, right? And I have another door, motion sensor. Yo, where are you jumping from? Tell your mama, move, move. I have a bully. She's 100 pounds. She's a trained killer. I cannot stop this dog if she attacks somebody. But she trained that if you walk in this door, she knows exactly what to do. So, and I'm a registered gun owner. So I don't feel threatened by URL that they're going to do something to try to silence me for what's to come. Because just because North's case is over doesn't mean that the situation with URL is over. I wonder if I'm going out the room. Because I'll explain. URL has another case with RBE going on right now that they're suing RBE. On top of them suing RBE, they're also now that Norbs just kicked up off of them, it's possible that Harry is going to be next to step in and claim what is rightfully his, which is he is going to sue them for the money that he invested into the company and didn't see a return on. So Harry has and knows where all the dead bodies are buried. He knows all the financial documentation and information. So it'd be interesting to find out what Harry take is on the financial stability of URL prior to the caffeine deal. And what was he made aware of when he was given the money? That gonna matter. How's the counter is RB, and that's the issue right there. RBE does not seem to be countersuing at this very moment, but it would be in their best interest to countersue for the same thing because they can, with the volition, by the volition of the others battlers who mentioned, everybody knows that URL does that. What URL always is suing RBE for is something that they are known to do. Known to do. Even from day one when they did that math Hoffa and T-Rex battle. What did Norb say? Oh, let's do it on the same day and stick it to them. Let them know. So since it was a high sought after battle event, they did it the same day as Gates of the Garden or GTX. Gates of the Garden, was it? They did it the same day that he was supposed to have it on another battle league. The other battle league that he was supposed to do it on, I believe, was Gates of the Garden. And they didn't have the funds or didn't want to do it or whatever. It didn't go down. They found the money to pay Max through Swag. Swagger paid Swag because Swag had a lawsuit. They used that man in his lawsuit, and that is where the origins of URL even began. And then if it wasn't for Verb and so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do a live, right? Give me a few. Because what I want to do is just take a shower. I was just saying, I woke up, I slept the wrong way. I fell asleep on the couch. My back was hurting so bad. I didn't want to get up and go in the room. So I laid back down on the couch another way. My back felt a little bit better, but my back is sore. So I do want to go ahead and get in the spa. So to have a spa, I'm getting a spa and just relax and change my clothes and get dressed because I'm just having a slow day today. When I come back, I'm going to give you guys some nostalgia. I want to show you guys something with URL that we've went over before. But whenever we go over it, it's a feel-good feeling but I need the battlers to see it. So I'm going to need you guys' help with the battlers seeing it. And the reason why I want the battlers to see it is because the battlers need to understand that it was them. It was them as to why battle rap still exists. It was their lyrics. It was them showing up. It was them putting on a good performance. It was them bringing the heat. It was them in their entendres. It was them in their cadence. It was them in their what they brought to the table is why battle rap still exists. Not all of them. I'm not going to say everybody's responsible, but everybody had a part in contributing to battle rap sustaining itself to this day. Now, the main issue that I have is that, back up, URL feels like it was them and their brand and their company and their cloud and it was who they are and it's smack. When these people don't rap, URL, when they say URL, you think of the battlers. You don't think of the brand without the battlers. There is no URL without the battlers. Let's be clear on that. I need these battlers to understand their worth and understand that they do have a viable lawsuit, because it's proven, if they settled, that URL is aware that they have been caught doing some unethical behavior. And the way that the Supreme Court works is, when you do shit like that in business, they will make an example out of you. So what they will do is they will hit you where it hurts. All right, so let me go ahead and get myself together. I'm gonna actually comb my hair today. How about that? I'm gonna look like a lady. I ain't been putting on a lot of makeup. I don't do that because I don't want to be sitting in front of a computer and I'm not going anywhere with makeup on, uncomfortable, sweating, because I'm just not like that. So some lip gloss, I'm good to go. You guys go ahead, do what you got to do. I'll be back in an hour. I'm going to put this video on private, but we're going to need to do some kind of marketing campaign. I'm going to include the colleagues, scholars, and professionals that be coming to my page. That means you guys. And we'll create a marketing campaign. And what we'll do is try to help these bottlers understand their worth and how they have a case against URL. They have a case. What would that case be? I'm going to look up to see similarities in cases in the Supreme Court, and I'll pull them up. So that's what I'll do while I'm sitting here just sipping. Instead of reading a newspaper, drinking coffee on a Saturday morning, I'm going to look up cases similar to what went on with the battlers, as far as in the paid labor. And you got this paid labor, but you have what you call independent contractors. You say, I'm gonna pay you this much to do this, and you have no right to it, right? But off of what they did, how much responsibility does URL have to tell them that they will be enriching themselves and that the profit margin is where it is? And I don't know if some of that in court is illegal, and I do believe it is, because that's the epitome of what unjust enrichment is. And Quantum Root is around it, I think. But we're going to check it out. We're going to dig. We're not lawyers, but we can research. Hey, Happy. Good morning to you. What is that the courts do? They take away their business licensing? No, AFAN. They charge them money. The penalty in certain courts, say, for instance, in the civil division of the civil criminal division of the Supreme Court, it would be a monetary value. So they make you pay. They put your money where your mouth is. You fucked up. You did something crazy. The remedy is to pay. So that's the punishment and the remedy. It's of a monetary nature. So you have to, and we went over this the other day, which is punitive and compulsory damages, and those damages weigh in with the unethical business practices. So you're going to be penalized financially based on your unethical business practices, and then regarding the case and how much you may owe to someone based on the fair market value. So think about it like this too. You got P out there doing what he's doing. Will P make the money that Norbs make? No, because the Fenwick report is sealed. So P doesn't even know what the fair market value is for what he's doing. And he wasn't doing half of what Norbs was doing, because you see where URL is now. As much as people hated Norbs, and Norbs could have been unethical or immoral, whatever the fuck they want to say about him, the personal opinion of one is not relevant to the business. operations. It wasn't like, you know, he was, there's a battle going on and Norbs just ran through the battle butt naked. You know what I'm saying? Like, then we got an issue. These are two separate things. So when it comes down to the business operations, Norbs was rightfully owed. The settlement demand was 15 million before, and that was just based on what Norbs knew that this business could be making. And that would be the portion that he should have been entitled to. After that report came out, not only was Norbs rightfully owed 15 million, but potentially more money. So you have some shit going on with URL, co-owner, see Norbs payout and see a way out. Yeah, there is, thinking they could double Norbs payout at least the beginning of the end. All right, so whatever they're paying Norbs, we don't know technically yet. I would look at closer to 15 million. All right. I would look at closer to 15 to 25 million going into the settlement. If I was Norb's attorney, I would have started at something like higher. And I will say, I'm not going past 15. We could take it to trial, and I'll put this FinWit report out on Sunday. And that's what they probably did. And they said, no, okay, 15 million, not so bad after all. Not so bad after all. Because caffeine had to be furious. Imagine doing business with somebody and you thinking that, all right, this is going to be favorable for us. We're going to funnel, money through this, funding that we have from these high level executives, these Caucasian powerful brokers and stuff that are, giving us money from their reputable corporations to help fund the caffeine umbrella. To find out that y'all been giving these niggas all this damn money and they ain't been doing right with it. They haven't built up URL. URL doesn't have an epicenter. How you been in business for 14 years making millions of dollars and there's no center? Like even Smack, when Smack started, they had this little office space that they were using with a couple of desks in there. And used to be mad niggas hanging out inside and outside of the building and stuff. And they was hustling, they were grinding, but they had an epicenter. How you go when you broke and you just starting out to having a storefront to now having a Lambo truck, but you have no business, no property, no real assets related to URL that we know of. There's no development center. You have never heard of Smack in the back of a truck throwing out, giving out turkeys to his community in New York where he come from and stuff. I think he's from Brooklyn. You don't have none of them going and doing volunteer work at like a food bank or something like that for the holidays and stuff. This is shit that is part of what companies do, and they didn't. They didn't do anything. They took that money and they felt like this is mine, mine, mine. Do you remember the cartoon? I'm old, but there used to be a cartoon with this. One of the animals was like he was really greedy and he used to would hoard money and it's mine, 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 all mine. This is mine. He's like, and it was like one of them was like the lumps of sugar. He was like, one for you, one for me, two for you, one, two for me, three for you, one, two, three for me. You know what I mean? That's URL in a nutshell. And there's a lot of minority men in business that I know personally that are just fucking greedy. Greedy, greedy, greedy. They can never have enough money. And the last thing they want is to give a lot of money to anyone. They just don't want to give niggas money. So they'll penny pinch you. And if you get in 2, 4, 5, 6, maybe 10,000 to do a battle, and they got it like that. But off of that battle, off of you, just off of ticket sales alone, they made 250,000. This is what has been going on for years. It's wrong. It's unethical. It hurts because I just know that it was a lot of battlers, even some personally that I personally know, that was on the verge of like literally jumping off a roof because they were broke, robbing people, selling drugs. There should be no reason why Surf got into the position that he was in the first place. There should have been some kind of developmental program or some kind of risk assessment, because that's what you're supposed to do in business, is assess your risk. And Surf was a asset to URL. The value of URL includes the contracts they have with specific battlers and Lee. Oh, and so if you look at the valuation of URL, you don't look at it as how much money they got in the bank or how much money versus the income versus the expenses. You also would look at the actual contracts that they have with specific battlers, and you can say, oh well, they have Sue Surf on the contract, they have Tay Rock on the contract, they have Suge on the contract, they have Moot, they have such and such on the contract. All right, during that period of time while they're under contract, URL value changes based on that too. So you'll look at each battler. It's like somebody like Mook as human capital would be worth, let's say, five couple million just off of him. So human beings have value to businesses too. And that's how corporations, when you see market capitalization, that's what the market capitalization also includes. It includes the valuation of assets for that company. That's why market capitalization be looking crazy. Hence why, remember when they was like, Kanye West was part of Yeezy and he jumped up to 4.5 billion. That was based on the market capitalization of the Yeezy brand. It wasn't real money. So it's just valuations and numbers and stuff, but it does help you to get um, credit and stuff like that, and investors, blah, 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 whatever. But we're going to do a campaign today. We're going to go into and we're going to talk about the core battlers who built up the URL brand. First, you have to start there with a lawsuit. Who were the battlers that started with URL, consistently battled over the last 15 years, 14 years, and what was their impact to the URL brand? And then you look at where they are versus where URL is. So if URL is started with certain battlers and the company grew while these battlers were still there. Hey Wesley, I haven't seen you in a while. You haven't been in the chat. Thank you for coming. Ray, what's good? All right. They see you. They see you. Say. All right. They see you. They see you. You're not putting your no. You be looking your butt. Get your ass out of here. Can't have niggas off in themselves in this culture. Yes, Tay Rock should have 50 million in the bank. Verb and you can change things. Keep the content coming. Yes, Beasley, 50 million payout. Chico, 50 million payouts. Take 100 million and close shop. Happy that's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you why. URL makes so much money that they can't close the business. There's no way. There's enough money that's coming through that business that they can pay norms and it's not going to impact them. They're not going to be able to handle a lawsuit if the battlers came after them. But I think the best way for the battlers to come after them is not individually. You need a class action. Class action lawsuits have been proven. And also, in the dissertation that I'm writing, that was considered one of the best ways for you to come against corporations or music labels and stuff, was through class action, because they work. They're more successful than if an individual, because a lot of these licensing agreements that were sold to Caffeine were not sold based on one particular person. There were different people that battled on different cards. If you can get the majority or at least a significant amount of them who consistently battle over there during the time periods where with the particular licensing agreements that Caffeine purchased. Also, the contracts didn't develop until a certain period of time, but URL is making money off of the recordings. That's owed to the battlers because the battlers didn't sign contracts and sign their rights or give URL exclusive rights to put those battles over there on their app and not pay anyone. So for all the years that those non-contracted battles, contractual agreements for battles are on URL, there may be compensation. The difference between RBE and URL is the business practices. If RBE is a new business coming in, or they've been in since I think 2013. They've been in there for about 10 years now. If RBE is being explicit in saying, this is how much we're going to pay you for this battle, and that's that. You have an option, but URL makes you feel like you're obligated and contractual, and they would do something to maximize their profits. What's up, Mr. Curati? Thank you for coming. I want to make sure that I have a layout, a structure. So for moving forward, when we discuss this, we're going to look at it from the perspective of the battler being misled. They not only was misled, where's the controller? They're not only just been misled, they were manipulated, intimidated, blackmailed, threatened, isolated, lied to. There was a lot of tactics that was taking place. And let me explain. When it comes down to a business, businesses can't do certain things. See, RPE wasn't doing all that shit. URL was doing the most and doing everything to push their weight around. And they wanted battlers to believe that we made you. Not only did we made you, you're nothing without the URL. Not only that, but you're going to do whatever we tell you to do. And we'll give you battles that solely benefit us. And we're going to put you under contract. Because if you give me a battle, if I'm more amateur and you give me a higher caliber artist to battle, but you're paying me at a lower rate, to drop the stock of the high battler, the high caliber battler, increase mine, but by the time I get to the point of having me be high caliber going against another high caliber artist, now is all right. Listen, we looked you out. Remember, we gave you surf before. Remember, we gave you verb before. Remember, we looked out for you. We gave you move. All right, I'm gonna need you to do me this favor. Pay them. I'll give you 10. I'll give you 5 up front. I'll give you 5 in the back. Oh shit, you about to drop. You taking that money because you're already in debt because they don't pay the payments for URL is far and in between. Hence why these people be taking that money. On Verbs Live, you mentioned URL was making 2 to 5 million a month, and the fact that they knew some battlers was on some hard times and they paid them pennies is crazy. The devil's a lie. You're talking about people that are doing this in videos. I can't even do it. Doesn't Smack do this? What does that tell you? Either he's a Mason or either he is pledging allegiance to the dark side. It is what it is. It's none. I've been in the music industry for 30 years. It's nothing new. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So some people are willing to do whatever at whatever cost to be rich. And they are. But I think that there is an issue with Jean French and them because Smack opened up an LLC. Remember that in 2021. Smack White Entertainment. Although he swore under oath in an affidavit that Smack White Entertainment dissolved in 2016. But why did he fail to tell the courts that during litigation, months after Norbs filed a lawsuit, not even a year later, Smack go to Florida and get a LLC in Florida that is active. And I have a Florida LLC from one of my artists. And if you do not file taxes for 3 years, it becomes inactive. This was in 2021. It's active. He's paying taxes on it. There's money coming in. And I got an idea of why. Mr. Karate, I'm going to see what you said in a minute. Hold on. I don't want to lose my thought. The LLC for 2017 for URLTV.tv LLC, that one is active. The URL LLC isn't. They're paying taxes under URL TV. That's number one. And they didn't start paying taxes that we see until 2017 because Smack White Entertainment was inactive. That means they weren't paying taxes on it. And URL LLC, we can look that up and see if they were active, if they are active. But that one was in 2013. And now Smack White Entertainment LLC from 2021 is active. I believe I know why Smack opened up that LLC, and it's because of Chico, for sure. So if Norbs was to settle with what Beasley had to offer, he would be losing out on what he really was supposed to get. I'm assuming facts, Mr. Karate. What they did was, instead of him taking a severance, he decided to go after the exact amount that he was rightfully owed. And being that he didn't have access and he couldn't make that analysis, he knew that they had hella money. That's why they sued for $80 million. Because Norbs had an idea based on some of the information that he was able to gather over time prior to the lawsuit, and probably with the help of Harry. Because so we don't know what Harry could have told Norbs regarding the Watch Battle Lives, because Harry knew about the ticket sales. Harry knew about the pay-per-view. Harry knew exactly how much money they was getting. So why Harry kept giving them money is just to maybe stay connected, like pay like you weigh, like you want to be participate, you want to be involved in this, then this is what you're going to do. All right. Thank you, Mr. Karate. Y'all can hit the like, join, come on, Doc, putting in work. Please hit the like button because I care about you guys. So if you cannot give like a Cash App or something, which is fine, you could press the like button. It's free. It's more to it. All right, so check this out. Make it comfy. Make it comfy. I can't wait to change my clothes. Okay, please do more shows with Verb. You both had 1,000 in the chat. Your information is life-changing for anyone in business. Yes, thank you, Wesley. Yeah, I couldn't see how many people was in the chat, but I noticed that the chat numbers was high without me being here. Trust me, that's Verb. I'm nobody in comparison to Verb. Verb is told you he's on my Mount Rushmore. So like, the reason why I'm just, it's a bucket list item to be able to talk to Verb and T and tell them how I felt, because I felt that way. Like, these guys put in work. Updates. You didn't catch the updates. You didn't catch me in Verb on Live, did you? I was on Verb Live. Was like a half hour ago. Mm-hmm. Yo, Verb says my name in such a gangster way. I wish I could say my name like that. I don't say my name. I say Rosie because Roselle is hard for me to pronounce because I'm from the Jersey Shore. We have a heavy accent. Taking harvest down in the month. Blueberry strain and a headband. Cross dry before New Year. Happy? I'm crossing my fingers. Verb still got the live. Oh, he do. I thought he put it on private, but I was coming and going. But he just did a short video version. Good. I would like to talk to Verb, but I would like to have more information on what direction to go in from the live. And also I want to take time out to show all the information because it's in the meet and confer letters. It's in the letters back and forth to the attorneys. It wasn't submitted in court. It was the letters going back and forth where they talked about the harm that the information coming out in the discovery with what URL financials and caffeine said the same thing. Like their financial dealings between URL and caffeine would harm the. They said, "Oh, the public doesn't have an interest in this information." At first, I mean, that was one of the arguments. Another one of the arguments, and they had tons. Like I can sit here for at least an hour and tell you the arguments that URL had as far as in not wanting not just the Fenwick report, because this is prior to the Fenwick report, just in the transfer of data discovery information, which contained financials. They did not want Norbs to see it. They did not want Norbs attorneys to see it. The judges said, these are attorneys. It's confidential, attorney eyes only. Like, what's the problem with the attorneys getting information? Nobody's going to see it. Like, everything is done by a code of conduct. So it made no sense for URL to be so reluctant and resistant on that. Yes, they did updates. I think Mr. Karate just said there was a short version of it up. But well, you are the most definitely somebody in our eyes. Thank you, Mr. Karate. I appreciate you guys. I really do. But we gonna be putting in more work because now I think it's really time to put pressure on these battlers to do the right thing. This is serious. This is not about snitching. This is not about being gangster. This is about y'all being robbed. You ever see like a pimp? Alright, so this what happened with a pimp. A pimp put the hoe on the horse-stro. She make him thousands of dollars. He'll give her money to get a little hair done, maybe get a little wig, get her something to eat. Make sure that she got, her whole clothes and her whole heels and stuff. They got to get a hotel room for some of the higher class ones and stuff. They ain't fucking in a car. You got the pimp getting all the money. He gives some money to the prostitute, right? But the majority of the money goes to the pimp. What's the difference in what URL is doing? Because they giving people a little bit. I'm about to go viral. Verb posted part where Doc is on his live. Oh, it's not. It's Cloud9. Yeah, Verb shared the link on Twitter too. Wow. Well, you know why? Because this shit hurts. I'm coming from a place of somebody who has been in battle rap since I was a baby. I was like 18 when I came into battle rap. I'm 49 now. So I was like 17, 18 when I came into battle rap. And I watched these guys do their thing for fucking decades. We're not talking about like they was just rapping under URL. A lot of these guys that built the URL came from other places and they stayed on URL and they built up URL, the brand. They gave URL the look. URL became popular and URL became what it became clout-wise because of the people, not because of Smack, because Smack doesn't talk. Beasley is nobody important because he doesn't even, he's not, he doesn't even come off relatable. You know what I mean? He's not gangster. And I just believe that Smack trusted the wrong people and they got him in this position where his company is failing. But I wanted to go into something, so I'm about to tell y'all something. What if the LLC that Smack opened in 2021 was because of what John French is doing with the licensing agreements and his negotiations with caffeine? So if John French is the one who is directly giving the licensing agreements to caffeine because John French's name is on the licensing agreements. What if Smack said, fuck that, I'm putting my name on it. I'm going to open up Smack White and I'm going to start doing the URL events and I'm going to start putting the licensing agreements in my name. And then the licensing agreements that I sell to caffeine, I will put that into Smack White Entertainment. We don't know, but it's if the licensing agreements start saying Smack White Entertainment and they have Troy Mitchell on them, I wouldn't be mad at Smack because Smack did everything to try to build this company up the right way, and the people around him persuaded him that the right way was the way that they were doing it. Yes, we are Playboy Princess. 100% guaranteed and authentic, and what you do is greatly appreciated. And you guys being here is also greatly appreciated. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. Yes, we are. Doing how I battled in high school, hip hop. You 51, you young too, Doc. You're only a few years. Yeah, I'm young. I don't feel it right now. My back is killing me. Salute as always, Doc. Miles in chat. Yes, salute to you. Yo, it is going to get worse. It's not going to get better for URL because them just saying violent. This settlement, as we mentioned before, if you go to the videos, I've been saying this, and it's crazy because only me and Verb was the woke ones. It wasn't like, maybe it's because we don't eat meat. Maybe because we're not grounded. We grounded differently. I don't know. What I will say is that Smack trap battlers intellectual property on the apps is crazy. You know what? The intellectual property is owned by the artists. All right. In their contracts, they own the intellectual property. URL owns the recording of their intellectual property. That's what is stated in Daylight's contract, which I believe is like a baseline contract. So I'm not going to say that this works for everybody else, but they say, oh, you have your intellectual property, but the sole rights of this recording belongs to us. It's kind of complex. So that means that if, and Easy mentioned this, and I think this is a great idea. And I'm going to use Easy and Chess Battle as an example because that's one of the, really great battle. Chess did this thing. I was really proud of him, but Easy showed up. If if Easy and Chess redid the battle, say they did the battle on like a mountaintop or in the middle of a bridge in Ethiopia, just some and with some wild graphics going around them. I'm just saying, and they redid the Chess and Easy battle. How popular and how much money can they make off of it? If they own the intellectual property, they'll be able to do a reenactment of that battle. If that was the case, and sell it, right? It should have the same type of value. It would go through the same value system. So what if you had a company called Remake a Battle? Just saying. Somebody open up a company called Remake a Battle. Under Remake a Battle, the battler gets 60% of the income that comes out of it. So if it's 60%, they get 30, and the company get 40 if they put it in production, right? That's fair. URL doesn't do that. URL says, here, take this money and that's it. You don't get a percentage, you don't get a residual. There's no royalties. But there is residual income coming in from these battles. There are royalties coming in from these battles. The royalties and the income that comes in goes to Smack, Chico, and Beasley. On top of that, you have revenues, not just one. So you have the residual income from the previous battles from way back in the day. You have the licensing agreements that are being sold to Caffeine. You have the finances that are coming from the app. You have residual income that is coming from YouTube. You also have, if they have merch or any other advertisers and stuff like that, they got money from different advertisers. They got money from supporters. They got money from investors. We're not finished there. They also have some kind of relationship or partnerships and promotions that they do with other brands outside of battle rap, where you'll find the URL logo. And URL puts their logo over there because they believe that the clout off of that alone gets them some credibility. So it's like, okay, we'll stamp you. And that stamp is a stamp of approval, and you could pay us $10,000 for that. So they have income coming in from other business endeavors that they're doing on other websites and other apps that they have income coming from. So URL is generating 2 to 5 million a month. The taxes on URL is probably at like 45 to 48%. So even if they're making 5 million a month, it's actually about 2.5 million a month. If they're making 2 million a month, they're bringing in only $1 million. to some is a lot of money, but when you've been getting a lot of money like that, so a lot of people that um millionaires, they can go through money quick. I've seen people go through. I know this girl that went through $1 million in a year, and she ain't got shit to show for it right now. I have went through 1 million. I got shit to show for it though, but I done went through an easy couple of million in my lifetime. Mind you, I'm 49. So if I came across 2 million already, at least in my lifetime, them making 2 million a month at the rate of how they spend and how they hide money and how they funneling it, and we don't know how they're laundering some of it. It could be laundering too. This is stuff that goes on in business, and the only way you find out is from the inside. Part of that insight would have been contained in the Fenwick report. The Fenwick report would have probably had enough information to put two and two together. It wasn't worth coming out because if they get on the stand and they say, "Did you pay taxes in 2014?" They say, "No, the IRS is coming for you." That's what they did with Tasha K. Why is she in a predicament that she's in right now? Because she did not pay taxes. You're gonna invest it. Yes. If you had $1 million, Mr. Karate, you're gonna pay 45% tax or 48%. I think it's dropping down because the new tax rules are out, and people should be seeing more money in 2024. Um, and but if you make $1 million a year through a business, my tax my tax bracket for my business is at 28% with my income, and I make for my business, and I make a little over a quarter of a million. So that just lets you know. So if I'm paying 28% on a quarter million, $1 million is at 45 or 48%. I can show you guys the formulas, but I can get my CPA on here. Maybe I'm gonna hit my CPA up, see what he's doing, and see if he'll come on and talk to you guys about that. So for every $1 million you make, you're gonna pay 450,000 in taxes. hmm Then these guys got mortgages. These guys got half a million, quarter million dollars worth of, $250,000 car. Some of them have a car, might have car collections. Some of them might, and then like you have people around them that are opening up these businesses, but don't even have sources of income. So they could be helping and funneling and opening up businesses too. And they do have other businesses, by the way, too, because Jean French has a construction company too. And I heard that his construction company was being sued. Who told me that? Mr. Karate is bad. It's worse than I could just sit up here and explain in just one sitting. Um, it's just so wrong. They've been proven unethical in this case, that they have unethical business practices. That's been proven in this case. Hence why they led to a settlement, because they know that they could not win if they're doing fucked up shit, right? My face on the camera, but okay. So now, if they knew that they had engaged in unethical business practices and they were going to trial, and a lot would be exposed in their practices and their finances and their relationship with caffeine, how much did they feel that it was worth to suppress is the question. Will the settlement be confidential? The ADR program and whatever goes on in the ADR program is confidential. Will it come out to the public? I doubt it. But I do know that Norb should remain silent. The case is suspended. URL voluntarily settled, and their settlement was more likely to not only protect their financial records, but also their business financial dealings with caffeine at all costs. And you guys heard of, doing something at all costs. They are willing to have URL dissolve before they tell anyone about the relationship with caffeine. So let's say that this is going to take a toll on them and the company can't sustain itself thereafter. They have Smack White Entertainment currently. Smack White Entertainment currently doesn't have any debt. But I just can't believe that they sat up here for years and lied to the public, lied to us, act like Norris was wrong, act like, Norris was lying, act like, oh, he's not a partner, he's not entitled to shit, then turn around and pay him millions of dollars. It's a whole bunch of cockamamie bullshit of what they did. How they were, you know, making me to look like us. Now I ain't gonna say me because it's a we here. Ain't no I in team. They had, so when I say that, or when I speak of we, I'm speaking of all you guys along. They had the public looking at us like we know what the fuck we were talking about, like we lying, like we exaggerating, like we weren't just reading verbatim documents. They had people believing in battle rap that um, we didn't know what we were talking about, like we weren't literally reading what the attorney said. So today is going to be a grind day. So this is what I'm going to ask you guys to do. I'm going to take a shower and get dressed. Can Norbs talk about it without trouble? Probably. Norbs can't talk about for real. Not really. Updates has a good point. Yeah, now that the grass is getting cut, we can see the snakes. Absolutely, man. They weren't trying to open the books. I'm gonna tell you something about that. Updates. It wasn't about the books. It was about the FEMA report. Nobody would have ever seen URL books because their books was not part of this discovery. What was in the discovery was information pertaining to Norbs and Norbs contributions only. Based on the information that they received prior to the FEMA report, Norb's attorney had a 15 million settlement demand. The 15 million settlement demand was just based on the information that was coming through confidential attorney eyes only. Once it got to the expert was able to find other things because Caffeine also finally gave up the information regarding the licensing agreement and the event production. Then the number was supposed to change to more money. So we don't know if the settlement demand was more, but it was supposed to be more than the 15 million because of the Fenwick report. So they did not want the Fenwick report to come out because the Fenwick report contained proprietary information. It contained negotiations such as the email correspondence between John French and Mr. Malik over there at Caffeine. It contained information on the battlers, the event, like the venue costs and stuff like that, possibly. And it also contained revenues for URL events. And even just off of the Born Legacy 8 from 2019, which we all know is not like a Summer Madness, but that event and just initial ticket sales that we are aware of was at the minimum of 100,000. So we don't know what the battlers were paid on Born Legacy, but we know that they don't get paid hella money on Born Legacy. So even if the event was about, say, 15,000 to put together, if it was 15,000 to put together, they had an $85,000 profit just off of sales alone. That had nothing to do with the licensing agreement also. So now you got to include that because you got the residual income from the app, and then you have Born Legacy 8 licensing agreement that is going to say being sold to Caffeine for an undisclosed amount of money. But if they made over 100,000 off the event, 15,000 in production costs, $85,000 profit on just that alone. And then in addition to that, they sold the Born Legacy 8 licensing agreement to be distributed on Caffeine for, let's say, $250,000. That means that 15,000 went into production and 350,000 were profit. The profit margin is ridiculous, and I don't think that it's ethical. And it might be an unjust enrichment to have you pay me 10,000 and you made 350,000 off of me, off of that one event. And it's hundreds of events. It's not like URL did a few. Norris was responsible for at least 100 events like this. So you do the math between 100,000 times 100. The amount of money that Norbs got is peanuts in comparison to what the URL has. So him asking and getting 20,000 isn't a lot of money based on the money that URL is generating. He's asking for 25%, not more than that. So 25% at 15 to 25 million would say what? So if URL was making $100 million over this time frame of from 2009 to 2020, if it can be shown that URL made over $100 million, that's crazy. It's so crazy to think that they got these people, because you got that other dude too that just gave them some money. You know, that same guy that was giving Norbs money. I don't know if his name is McCoy. I'm sorry. I was calling him McGregor. My bad. I think it's McCoy. Y'all remember McCoy? Moses? There was another dude too. 25 million, yeah. Still remain in denial and turn a blind eye just to be accepted by them. You're right, Playboy Princess. That is a fact. Can I talk about it? I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, too. Yeah, to a degree. I'm sure he's going to speak, but no time soon. Let him enjoy his time with his family. This is a huge burden lifted. You know, I said this like when I spoke to Norbs, because I know. I said, Norbs, it's coming to an end. Norbs will tell you. I saw all the sleepless nights, all the stressing, all the crying. Remember, Norbs relocated. It was an embarrassment. That boy got the brakes beat off of him in public. The guy who beat him in public was rewarded with a headlining event for the first caffeine event. Gerald McCoy, the ex-pro football player. Sir, Mr. McCoy, Smack Beasley and Chico make 10 times more than you. Why are you giving them money? Do you have kids? This is part of your generational wealth. You went and you played football and you nearly could have killed yourself on that field to turn around and be giving them money, and the money that you gave them, they have enriched themselves to the point where they make 10 times more than you, and you still giving them money for what? At this point, they should be doing whatever you want because you invested in them. Why they just can't do the battles that you want them to do without you paying for them? You're not pulling any weight doing so. You look like a fool now. They got you out here looking crazy. And you over here riding for them. And they're making a couple million a month. A couple million a month, Gerald. And you got a family. You ain't going to be here forever. And they're not going to give you your money back. But they just gave Norbs millions of dollars. They been had money. Their money is super long. Hence, they just had a lawyer that they've been fighting the case for the last 3 years. Imagine how much they had to pay that lawyer in lawyer fees. So you're telling me that this lawyer milked them for the last 3 years, doing all this paperwork to get money out of URL, and they so stupid and went all along with it when they could have been settled years ago and saved them some money. But it was in the best interest of this law firm to drag this shit on so they can continuously build URL, right? So who really made out? Norb's attorneys don't get paid unless he get paid. They about to get 33% too. So keep in mind that whatever Norbs gets, they get 33% of that, right? So they getting over 300,000. They're getting over 300,000 for each $1 million that they get. For Norb's attorney will take in over 300,000 off of each $1 million too. These are lawyers. But this rightfully owed to them because Norbs wasn't even looking at no more than 500,000. So, but then you also have to think about any money that has to be paid in taxes too. But that comes after, because what happens is they're doing a settlement agreement right now that's being written up by by Norb's attorney. Now, after they do the settlement agreement and it goes in principle too. So I'll explain a little bit about principle, because the money is going into principle first. All right. This is real shit. This means that URL got the money. It ain't like, "Oh, I gotta pay you overtime." It's like, all right, okay, and we'll transfer this money to you. How much? Oh, 20 million. Okay, no problem. We'll transfer this 20 million. We'll get that, whatever. That's how much money they got. That they can just transfer the amount, undisclosed amount of money into principal. So the money is paid directly to the court. Um, no. Mm-mm. The money's paid right to the attorney because they're dropping the case, I think. They don't want to go to court. They don't want the status conference because if they get to the point of going to a status conference, the Fenwick report will automatically come out because Monday, the Fenwick report will have to come out. Along with the Fenwick report, people don't understand what else do Smack Chico Beasley's attorney does not want the public to see. The depositions. Those depositions are incriminating. Those depositions show the unethical patterns of business, the unethical business practices. And all of them were saying different things. Smack would say URL ran parallel to Smack by Entertainment. Beasley said something similar. But Jean French, who is in control of all the bank accounts, in control of all the negotiations with Caffeine, name is on the majority of everything with URL is in Jean French name. Smack does not. Smack Ben lost the power of the companies. He's just a puppet. I do want to say something about Smack because we all love us some Smack. I started as I was going through the case because I really felt some type of way about him because his name stands on everything. I really was holding him accountable. But this is more or less not about Smack, guys. Smack is not that bright of a bulb. Smack is just a fun-loving guy that want to make money, enjoys battle rap, and he's here because he want to be. And he really meant well initially coming into this as to why he brought Norbs in because he believed in Norbs. Beasley, coming as the bougie man he was, I think he was very manipulative, possibly. I think that John French was supposed to be this nerd. I think that Smack put too much trust in Beasley and Chico, and they ran his company to the fucking ground. And I think Smack don't want to deal with John French no more because this is happening where all this shit is even made available to the public because of John French. John French is the one who if he say something, it goes because the licensing agreements are in his name. He can literally get the money from Caffeine. He doesn't have to necessarily split it or distribute it between all three of the other two parties, unless he could do some shady shit. And Smack and Beasley already were accusing him of stealing money out the bank accounts. They said this to Norbs, like, yo, this nigga's stealing money out of the account. But they couldn't do shit because his name is on everything. John French's name is on everything. John French's his name is on the licensing agreements. They gotta put up with him getting the money from Caffeine, him dealing with the negotiations with Caffeine. Beasley is the one in the middle trying to be the peacemaker. But if Jean French tells Smack and Beasley, you gotta get rid of Norris. He ain't getting shit. Fuck that nigga. I don't give a fuck what he did. I don't care how he not responsible for shit. Fuck him. You should see what Jean French was saying in the his deposition. They literally were trying to rewrite as if Norbs didn't exist. But that settlement begs to differ. So they were lying all this time. But if Jean French is putting Smack and Beasley's back against the wall saying, I ain't giving you a dime unless y'all get rid of Norbs, they knew that they ain't have a choice. They turned their back on Norbs for money. They could have been cut out of the deal with Caffeine too, because they allowed John French to, underneath their nose, get too powerful because his name is on shit. So those licensing agreements go wherever Jean French go, not wherever URL go. So, and I know Smack is realizing this too. Like, damn, like I thought I can trust Chico. Turn around and Chico got his name on everything. So Chico is always going to be the one who profits off of URL the most. the one who was the least involved. They had him being the one that redistributed money and stuff like that, so that people wouldn't come to them and ask them for money. They'll say, "Oh, well, Chico handled that. Chico handled that. Chico handled that." Because Chico's the one who what was doing the undercutting, the upper-handed shit. He was the one that was more proactive with ensuring that his part of the URL was solidified. And why didn't they put the licensing agreements in their name? It says URL, but it says John French. So this will go with John French and his children and his children and stuff. But there are battles that don't have licensing agreements. And if they do have licensing agreements, there isn't. Those battlers aren't under contract. So December 19th, guys, drop your location. That is going to be one of the fire ass. It's going to be talked about for a while. It's coming right before Christmas. It's a great event. I will be there. So make sure you guys go to guttacity.com, GUTTACITY.com. Grab your tickets. Make sure you guys are locked in for the drop your location. That is Easy the Black Captain against John and Don. And trust and believe, Easy gonna make an example out of his ass. And update says that she agreed because no matter what the battlers have all said, Smack's a good dude. It's the brains and the company that got ahead of themselves. Okay, and Savage says Norbs also said he didn't have to pay anything for lawyers all the time, so they do deserve it too. Yes, because in civil cases, and this works the same way for the battlers. So the battlers don't have to worry about having to put out money and stuff like that. The only way that an attorney will take your case if they feel like you have one and it can be won, and it's done with if you don't they don't get shit unless they win. So they have an incentive to fight hard for you and to get you what you deserve. And those battlers deserve 50% of the company. Straight up. They need to pull this is really where the books need to be opened up. And if it comes to that point, will URL be willing to pay the battlers? But it should be like $100 million lawsuit. $100 million lawsuit. That's what I feel. They should be owed. The battlers made the URL what they is today. You got Geechee Gotti on this homecoming card, and it looks crazy because Geechee, they about to use you and this homecoming and everybody on there to be Norbs. So Norbs gets millions of dollars. You get the battle and be their bitch boy and stand on that stage and do your job as paid labor. There's nothing gangsta about that. You're not in control the way you think you are. It doesn't matter if you feel like you got a substantial amount of money from them. That money that you got from them, you better pay the taxes on it. How about that? And taxes on an LLC start at 14%. Business tax start at 14%, not 7. So pay your taxes, because they're already garnishing, they're already putting liens, they're already taking bank account money out of some of these battlers' bank accounts. So I think the IRS is probably already involved as to why URL is trying to go ahead and settle this, because they got something bigger coming down the pipeline. One of that could be an audit from the IRS. I'm pretty sure, because they mentioned in court, not in the deposition, in court, they mentioned about and your Norb's attorney mentioned about URL not paying taxes in 2014. All right, so they could be audited because of that. Also, Harry was already pissed. He told Norbert that they were stealing from him, so he could assume that they were stealing from him too, and he feels like they owe him millions of dollars. Harry has every documentation of every single dime that he's given to the URL. He has every single statistical valuation when it comes down to the money that URL made. And Harry was participating in investing in the URL. And at the end of the night, they would have these meetings they would have with Harry So Harry has enough information that he could, at minimum, and Harry has a lawyer. Harry got a lawyer. Harry got a lawyer. What do you need a lawyer for? Hmm? Your L attorney, Samantero, the same dirty douchebag that lied to the public with that bullshit letter. Your attorney contacts Harry's attorney and tells him, don't provide any information to Norb's attorney. Norb's attorney tells the judge, this would have came out in trial too. Norb's attorney tells the judge, I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to go as far as to say that they are, there's a certain, what is it? He didn't want to accuse him of a crime, but he said that they are telling him, Harry attorney, not to give us documents regarding the financials. But Norb's attorney said Harry's attorney was willing to give them whatever they wanted. So they could take it because it's eye on the side of give all the documents that you have is confidential, attorney eyes only. So whatever was given by Harry, if anything, because I'm not 100% sure, that also would be in the FEMA report. So that's all the statistical values for Watch Battle Live that Norris was responsible for. Hot Hands was good. Should every league open their books or only URL? Hot Hands. The only ones that have to open up their books is if your company is public. All right. So let's be clear. URL does not have to open up their books. URL was not made to open up their books. URL had to give up information regarding what Norbs alone, just Norbs. There were a lot of events going on, a lot of people participating, a lot of different people put events together. When it came to Norbs, though, since 2009 till 2020, is what they were talking about and discussing, and that is it. When you go to court and you do something unethical, and you are unjustly enriching yourself off of somebody, you had a fiduciary duty to tell them that this person could not build up and make success of a company and be compensated for it. You didn't tell him that he was not a partner. You didn't get him to sign a contract like you do your battlers. You didn't have an independent contractor agreement with him. You didn't give him a 1099. You didn't give him a W-2. You understand where I'm going? Let me finish Hot Hands because I want to make this clear. Nobody books is being open. The books that the discovery information with any financial documentation was confidential, attorney eyes only. Nobody would see that. The expert for Norbs can go over and do an analysis of that information and give that to the court for trial. So this is stuff that could be pertinent to the case, but it only included information with events that Norbs was responsible for, or where Beasley said out his own mouth that Norbs, they was getting a percentage of the money from events at URL. And this is and that outside of that they just said that Norbs wasn't entitled to money from the licensing agreement. They did not want to give him money based on the money they were getting from caffeine, but the judge said included. Okay, give it to him. Nobody's going to see it. Norbs is going to see it. Give it to the attorney. The expert then did analysis, hence the FEMA report. Should every league open their books? No company has to open their books unless they're a public company and they're asking for public support through investments and stuff. So not necessarily, but even caffeine has some kind of details regarding the health of their business, because the health of a business is how investors make the decision to support a company. So companies have like health, just like we have health. Companies have that statistical evaluation to see the health of that company, and then people make decisions on whether they want to support them or not. So Opening up the books is not something that anybody should want to do in business whatsoever. Your accountant should be the only one handling your books. But when you do unethical things and you're not handling your business properly and you end up in a court case, then you're under scrutiny. So when you're under scrutiny, like Uriel was by law in the Supreme Court, your financials are in question. Hence why Uriel was even in a position where their financial records could have been shown, and their relationship with the financial records with caffeine could have been shown. So, no, I don't think that any league should have to open their books, including URL. But you need to practice accounting principles and you need to follow ethics. You should put people in place that have degrees in business to run your company, and you sit back as the CEO and you allow them to do things properly, because people that have the business degrees understand ethics in business. Even I took an ethics course in my bachelor's. I got a B. Ethics is hard, y'all. Y'all don't understand. It's hard because you have a dilemma on what to do right. It's internally. Nobody can know the fucked up shit you're doing inside of a business unless somebody within that business tell. Hence, whistleblowers. Hence, the whistleblower law to keep people from retaliating against people who tell. Just like the situation with Wells Fargo when they were getting mortgages and they were opening up bank accounts and they were opening up credit cards using some of their account holders' names without their permission, and millions of dollars, was, I don't know what the hell was happening. The way that the government found out was not because they were able to track it and tap into it. Someone inside the company had to said something. So, like the Ponzi schemes, somebody inside had to say something. The situation with DJ Envy and Caesar Pina, someone inside had to say something. The IRS and the government didn't know what the fuck was going on. How am I supposed to know that you're doing wrongdoing unless somebody tells us and we see it through, some evidence? Otherwise, there's nothing that says that somebody's doing something wrong. It's called white collar crime. The reason why people find out is because somebody inside told. If none of the investors said anything about the money that was being stolen from them, how would the government know that this is just not a regular business operating? Right? URL would have never had to even come to the point of having any books opened up if they were doing shit right, but they didn't know it's wrong. They wasn't paying him. They have no proof of anything that they gave him except some PayPals, and they said that they were paying him cash. You got a multi-million-dollar corporation paying people in cash. So, you know what the IRS can do? The IRS can go to every single battle that URL did. Every single battle, right? They can look up every single battler's name. And they can see if URL 1099 them. They don't need to know from the battler if the battler paid their taxes or what they did with the money. But because I don't do the independent contractors with my business, but I know clients that do. So I'll explain so you guys can understand from a smaller scale. All right. Say we're URL and I'm paying a battler. When I pay you $2,000 for a battle, that $2,000 that I gave, Mark Jackson, I'm just making up a name. Mark Jackson, Verb said, pull up to the spaces. Oh, I got to pull up the spaces, yo. We about to slide over to spaces because Verb want me to pull up the spaces. So everybody, we're going to shut down here. We're going to go over to the spaces where Verb is. Y'all know I don't go to no spaces. They already, okay, I'm going now. All right, let me go over to spaces. I see you guys there.